I always say when I'm doing a talk or I'm giving a teaching, I always let people know that I'm actually talking about what my view is at this moment in time. I'm never telling people that this is what I believe, this is my truth, and it is also has to be your truth. I never say that now. Of course, there was a time in my life when I was less wise and less mature, let's say, that I would come across something, especially in the spiritual sense, and I would turn around and say, this is the truth. And it doesn't matter what anyone else says, they're all wrong and this is right. And I know there's a lot of people out there who will do their talks and put their stuff out on YouTube and will imply, if not say, that this is the only truth you must now believe because I understand this and this is the truth, not this is your truth, this is my truth. They don't say this is my truth and it's possible that you could believe that this is your truth. They don't say that. They imply usually that this is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me. So, as I say, I'm not knocking people for being like this. This is their way. I'm just saying, let's look at it in a different way and see why this might be the case. And I've realised over the years, especially with the guidance I receive, that each one of us human beings is individual and living our very own individual lifetime on our individual pathway, our journey. And in that journey, we will find and we will be drawn towards what is ready for us and what is right for us to do at that time in our lives, always depending on the path that we have chosen to take in this lifetime. And so, when I would say that, let's say I believe that star beings, as we like to call them, are high-dimensional beings of seventh dimension and above or thereabouts. And they don't usually live in a physical existence, in a physical body. They only live in a highly evolved etheric body, or whatever it is, a high-dimensional being. Now, others might say, well, no, that's not true, because I've met people who have drawn pictures and shown me images of these star beings as they have seen them. And they definitely have physical bodies. Some may say they're blue, some may say they look like lions, some may say they look like amphibious beings. And my view is, in most of these cases, star beings are highly evolved spiritual beings of a high dimension. Does a being of such a high dimension need any more physical bodies? That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm proposing. That they don't need a physical body. They are a consciousness. They live in the conscious being realm, which is a very high vibrational realm, a very high dimension. And so there's no need for them to have a physical body. Now, it doesn't mean that some of them didn't at one time have physical bodies like us and have evolved and evolved and evolved till they no longer needed it, as we may do at some point in our future. Not at this time in our ascension, but in the days going forward in hundreds, thousands, millions of years, who knows? We may no longer need to have a physical body at all. And what I'm proposing is that these beings don't have any physical body. And in a way, they're just like angels in that they understand that human beings like us feel a lot closer to a being when they can put a physical shape to it. So let's think about, for argument's sake, let's think about archangels and angels. They're often depicted by humans, in the past at least, as beings that look like us, male or female, and with wings. And of course, in my experience, these beings are energy beings. Their name depicts what their energy is about. And in my experience, I don't physically see them. But sometimes they will give me an image of themselves, because that makes me feel closer to them. That makes me more understanding of who and what they are. Of course, these are very high-dimensional beings, if we can even use that term. And so they don't have a need for any words or feelings about anything like this. They just are. They just exist. And so they don't need to have any specific direction of understanding by us. But for our benefit, they do this, so that we can feel closer to them, by being drawn closer to them, because we feel their presence more so. We feel their presence and understand their being by having this shape or form that we put to them. And my view is it's exactly the same with most of these star beings. Now, don't get mixed up between what I'm referring to as star beings and ETs. Extraterrestrials are many and vast. Most of those beings are, these are just the terms I'm using, of course. Most of these beings are beings with a physical existence of sorts. Some different from ours, some very similar to ours. We're not talking about ETs here. We're referring to star beings. And so when people turn around to me and say, no, star beings do have a physical body because I've had feelings of what they look like. They've shown me what they look like. And my view is the reason I've just given for that. Now, I'm not saying to you, I'm right. This is a fact. You have to believe this. You have to stop believing what you believe in and believe what I'm telling you now, because I'm right and you're wrong. It's not about that. There is a very good reason why we need to have our own views. We don't have to have the same view as each other. It can help when we feel the same about something, for sure, because we're putting that into the ether. If we all realise that star beings are here because they're helping us and the planet and the universe in many ways, we put that into the ether, and that gives their energy a more power, if you like, more truth, more meaning. So, I think I've got that point across. And this is one of the main reasons that we need to realise that we, humans, are part of a collective. And that collective is actually humanity's unity consciousness also. We are designed to be able to do this because our individual consciousnesses are creating the whole being unity consciousness of humanity. And let's look at it another way. I see that Source, God, all that there is, or whatever name you wish to use, is created because of all the instances of its being what makes up the whole. Each expression that is called a human being has its own resonant frequency. And when all of these are put together in one place and time, then something that vibrates at a very specific frequency has actually been created. And I don't want to stray too far from the main topic, but let's just say that we are required to actually be different and vibrate at a different frequency so that all that there is can become manifest. When I am living my truth, I'm in my flow and receiving just what I need to receive at this moment in time. Joe Blogs Next Door is receiving their truth, and that is what they need to receive at this time. It's usually, we find, because of our egos, that we feel a need to say, I'm right, you're wrong, I'm right. It's because of our egos that we want to have this I'm right, you're wrong mentality. And there are, of course, certain things like mathematics and things like this that we're not going to be able to turn around now and say, well, I believe 2 and 2 is 5, so I'm right. And it's not about things like that. We're talking more about the things that are our point of view that have not really been proven in any great way at this time, but is our understanding. And I think that is a good word to use, because if we could only just say, as my dear friend Robert says, it is our understanding, not our belief, because that is actually the truth of it. At this moment in time, in this physical body, it is my understanding that what I'm telling you is correct for me. I'm not telling you it's correct for you. But this is my life I am living. And so I have to make sure that what I'm doing is correct for me. I shouldn't be too concerned about what's correct for you, because you have to deal with that. You have to decide what is correct for you. And I think we could all get on a lot better with this understanding of life. That's all for today.